are you? My name is Anthony Gray. Welcome to another episode of Grayscale Painting. There was a painting online that I thought was very interesting. I'll do little changes to it so it doesn't look like I'm plagiarizing anybody. But it was very unique in its composition. It's a mountain painting, but the mountain is like really right almost in front of your face. Okay, and it's a different aspect on painting a mountain. All right, it is a nice perspective painting, and which is why you see the lines, the perspective lines there, so it looks kind of mechanical, and the building looks like a Lego drawing, but we're gonna work on that too. All right, I don't want to really mask this off. It really doesn't need it. Okay, so we're gonna approach this painting a little differently than my usual paintings. As far as the glycerin is concerned, I may not use that. I just might go with the acrylic and water. All right, let's look down below here. We got cad red, cad orange, we got a ultramarine blue, cad yellow, and titanium white. That's what I have so far. I might not need any more than that. And right now I'm working with a size 11 bristle brush, natural hair. All right, I'm gonna try to work. This is look here on the screen. As a matter of fact, sorry about that. But look here on the screen, 11 by 15 inch watercolor paper. And what I did was I just double layered the watercolor paper. Spray adhesive glue on the back, just glued two pieces of watercolor paper together. It prevents the watercolor paper from bowing and bending and all of that. All right, but both sheets are 150 pounds sheets of paper. All right, so what I'm going to do first off is just wet my brush, and I'll just kind of coat the sky with a little bit of water here. I go a little past the mountains. Okay, and right now, like I said, I'm just using brushes that are conducive to the size of the paper that I'm on. That's all. I'm gonna take a little bit of the ultramarine blue. I'm getting it right now. You guys already see this, see what I'm doing here, and I'm gonna just make it really light. All right, get a nice sky color happening here, and then I'll just coat the sky. We'll add some nice wispy type clouds in here. I'll go down a little bit past the mountain range itself. All right, I'm getting a little more blue, a little more white. I'm just mixing it in there. That's all. Try my best to pretty much keep the same tone in the sky, if you can. If you can't, just work with it. Okay, now obviously working with water, the paint is going to dry up a little bit, so I'll just dip the water, put it into the paint, loosen up the paint a little bit, and just keep going at it here, just like that. It's always a disturbingly ugly stage when you're painting, so don't worry about it. You can always go back over it and smooth it all out. So don't fret if it doesn't look pristine as you would like it to look. Okay, everything goes in stages. All right, so don't worry if it doesn't look, like I say, up to snuff yet. Just keep working at it, that's all. And working with water instead of any type of slow drying medium, you will get that effect. Okay, and I don't necessarily have to get my blue sky to be exactly picture perfect, because there can be clouds in there. Okay, so it actually helps you out a little bit. Okay, all right. Let's get to a fan brush. Now I have a very smooth haired fan brush. I'll show it to you here. It's a number 2 fan, gentle hair. Let's look down here at the board, at the palette rather. I'm gonna just use the corner of the brush for some white paint. That's about it. And we're gonna make wispy clouds. All right, and basically, now remember, it's water, no medium on this. Okay, and we'll just start the clouds off kind of slanted. You can kind of shape them like so. Really wispy. See the edges, how wispy they are? So they make it look a little more natural. And you can just build up from that. All right, and once again, I'm only going to use the corner of the brush. The middle part of the clouds obviously are the thickest. Then you just kind of do your little patterns or whatever after all of that. Just make them really wispy. Just like so. And it's just me really blending all of that in. I can use the total brush to blend in, but as of right now, just for some of the wispiness of the clouds, just use the corner of the brush. And you just scumble the rest on there. I'm going at a certain kind of an angle here. Now, you got a certain time limit for your clouds. So just be mindful of that. Just whisk them around, and just like that. Because I'm not using any slow drying medium. Okay, so it's just a lot of blending. Okay. If you want your clouds to kind of hit a high spot somewhere, just add more paint to a certain area of your clouds. Something like that. And just leave it alone. If you're not really happy with what they're looking like, draw, I call it just paint through, not really draw through, but paint through. Keep going. You will be pleasantly surprised of what they would actually look like when it's all said and done. Okay. And remember, you're building. You're building. But see, the fan brush gives you that wispiness of your clouds, depending on the type of clouds you're looking for. Okay. So I'll go in little micro circles, get the kind of shape I want, and then I'll just let the dry end of the brush do what it does. Just like that. Okay. Now, as I'm looking at the painting, I can see that there's some spots of blue that can be tightened up a little bit. So I'm going to take I'll just show it to you here. One of my little makeup brushes. I'm going to go back into my titanium or ultramarine blue, a little bit of white. And I'll just kind of scumble. And basically, I'm just scumbling a lot of the streak marks out of there. That's all. Going to circular motion, kind of fade it. So I'm just making some areas a little stronger. Okay, a little more titanium white, a little more blue. You just work with it until you get that shade of blue that you're comfortable with, that you're looking for. And because I got such a soft-haired brush, you don't really have to press on as hard. Okay, very lightly, and you'll see streaks disappear, and you just keep moving. Just be very light with your touch. Marry some of that blue into your clouds. Like it all takes a type of touch, real slender, not slender, very light brushing. And you want to do it just enough to where you notice your streak marks are disappearing a little bit. So I don't have to do every one of them. Okay. Doesn't necessarily have to be perfect either. Right here in the corner, kind of tighten it up a little bit. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm looking at a monitor, so I can actually see what my painting looks like. So it's like almost looking at a different set with a different set of eyes. And basically, once again, I'm just getting rid of the streak marks. I'm just scumbling the paint over what I previously done. There's no glycerin here. Okay. See, I can go into the clouds themselves and kind of lighten those up. If I got too much of a hard edge, I can go in there and cover those up a little bit. Okay. Well, this is just water and paint. So it involves a little bit more getting shading and contours and all of that fun stuff. All right, look back down here. Now, obviously, I don't have any tan. Okay. So we'll make tan. So we'll take two color opposites, usually the red. Get a nice chunk of red. We'll put it right here. Usually it will be green that I would use, and I don't seem to have any, so we're gonna mix it. We're gonna get a little bit of blue. Put the blue right in there. We'll get a little bit of yellow because it makes green. Okay, and we're gonna mix these together here. Obviously, blue and red makes violet, but we're gonna add that yellow in there. Okay. Now, red is a very powerful color. Let's mix some more blue in there. And remember, blue and yellow makes green. So we're actually looking for color opposites. Well, that's getting pretty close. Getting fairly close there. Now it's getting towards that brown color that I'm looking for. All right. So we got this happening. Get a little bit of white, put the white in there, and there's our mountain color. Almost like magic, right? Okay. So we got a little bit of this happening. This will work. I'm getting some water. I'll put the water into the paint. Just loosen up the paint. I work with heavy body acrylics. Now I'm gonna pull my brush, get that sharp edge back. Let's go up here to the board. No water. Okay. And I'm really concentrating on the mountain tops. Try to keep them pretty sharp. Just like that. Usually when I sketch out a piece like this, your mountains or whatever subject you're painting tends to grow on you. So just be mindful of that. We got a nice peak here, so we'll put the peak right there. I'm just using the corner of the brush right now, just to get some interesting shapes going, just like that. Bring it down. Now, the advantage of using water with your paint is that you're going to get more of that natural color. Use very little water so it doesn't unbind. Okay, I'm trying to really get away from smooth edges on the mountain. It is rocks, very rocky, very rugged. Make it a kind of a dangerous place to try to climb. Okay, now down below, we're gonna go straight down just a little bit there. I'm not gonna go all the way down because we're gonna get some mist and stuff going, but we're just really blocking all of this in. As you see, there's little bits of red going on in there. That's okay, let it happen. See some of the darker browns happening there. That's all right, let it happen also. So it's not a perfect blend. I wasn't looking for a perfect blend, but just like that. Bring some of that up there. Let some of those streaks happen. It's okay. Just let it happen. The paint's a little bit damp, so we're going to use that to our advantage. Okay. This is a different take on painting mountains than what I usually would do. I still got water on this brush. Okay. So we're going to go down and we're going to get some of that brown. See this? And just scumble it further downward. Just like that. If it looks a little rough, that's okay. Just bring some of that color downward. It's all right if it looks a little crazy. You're bringing it downward. You don't want the total color. We're doing tonal value now with this guy. So it's okay. Trust me, it's fine. It doesn't look necessarily perfect. Not looking for perfect down here. We're gonna make mist, which is gonna come a little bit later on. But just bring it right down. Even if it lands on top of the house, that's fine. Remember, we're not using any glycerin. It's just the paint in the water itself. So I'm just scumbling away. Okay. Just like that. You see all those values and everything that's going on in there? You want that. That's gonna help you out. Remember, everything's a building process, all right? And once again, I'm using materials that are conducive to the size of the paper that I'm using. Okay. Okay. Well, so we have a little bit of this tannish brown here going on with a little bit of red in it and all that good stuff. This is perfect. This is great. This is cool. That'll work. Okay. All right. Let's get into our titanium white. We'll get a nice batch of it. We'll put it right here. We're going to get the tiniest bit of, we get a tiny bit of blue. We're just going to tint the white a little. Just a little bit. We don't have to make it totally white. We'll get it. We'll get a little bit of a bluish white here. I'm going to use a little bit of like the side of the brush a little bit, okay? All right, now we're going to maintain a pretty decent sharp edge. These are snow-capped mountains, so we're going to maintain a nice well, let's start from the further side here, because I'm a kind of a lefty here. All right, so we'll start here, and we're going to work and really concentrating on peaks up the mountain here, side of the brush here. So I'm actually painting on the snow. Okay, we're gonna still get our little gritty snow going on here, and we're going to do very interesting things with it. On one side, and I really want to concentrate on bring some of that down. We're kind of get some gaps going on there like that. Using the side of the brush because it gives me interesting little patterns, and I'm going in pretty much one direction, going downward. And once again, I am going to really highlight the edge of the mountain with a snow. All right. And this is going to be more or less the brighter area of the snow. And I really want to emphasize emphasize the degree of snow that's actually on the mountain. They're all going in one general direction here. Bring it right down to where it starts to fade out. Don't try to cover everything though, all right? And once again, I'm still concentrating on having the snow pretty much give you the shape of the mountain itself. Come out here a little bit. As I'm doing this, some of the snow is turning kind of brownish, which is fine, because not all the snow is going to cover all the color of the rock. So don't worry about that. Even though it might not look it, but I'm really concentrating on one side of the mountain here. And once again, I am concentrating on keeping the rim of the mountain fairly snow covered, or the peaks of the mountain snow covered. That's what I'm saying. I'm just dipping into more white, a little touch of blue into the white. We're just tinting the white a little bit, so it's not totally white. Oh, we'll put a nice one right here, something like that back down there, and we'll kind of almost like a little plateau of snow right here. We'll bring it right down in there like this. Might not look like much now, but just hold on. Give me a few minutes. What you want to try to maybe escape is having it look like brush marks. And remember, keep in mind that this is just one general color right now, and going in one general direction, which is this way. All right, to the right a little bit. Okay, I think we're pretty much good here as I'm looking at it. All right, we're going to get a little more blue into the white for the shadow side. I'm using the side of the brush, is what I prefer. Okay, and now you just concentrate on going in the other direction. Okay, still concentrate on snow. But it's just a cooler snow, so you're not covering everything. Okay, still using white with a little more blue. It's the cooler snow. I'm using the side of the brush. My paper has texture, so that helps you out. Okay, there's a bug on my not anymore. Okay, I kind of wish he stayed. I would have painted over him. Morbid, I know. But as you can see, you can see the different color now. All right, but you go in the opposite direction. Mix it into the brighter snow. All right, just keep working away at it. Keep plugging away. I'm not totally getting rid of all that brown. won't be necessary to do so. And I'm just scumbling the color, mixing it into the brighter snow, which is already dry. Okay. And remember, darker color recedes, so it brings things back. And it assists in pushing the brighter snow forward. So keep it going. So I'm just using a little more blue into the white. And what also helps you out is that in doing this, bring some of that downward here. Once again, I'm not getting rid of all that brown. Don't need to do all of that. And I'm just scumbling interesting little snow patterns in there. Okay. Over here on the other side, same thing. Outline that edge of the mountain. And it blends it in with the sky a little bit. Like so. See, what I mean by painting through, okay, now your clouds don't look as crazy now that you got something in front of it giving it a little bit of dimension and scale. You follow me? Like I say, you don't have to add this blue everywhere. Now my paint is starting to dry. I can tell. I can feel it. And it's fine. I'm not using any medium. Okay. We'll keep some brown pockets in there. But you see the pattern that it's starting to make. All right. So enough of that. We're going to go with straight white for our highlight color. And now, this is just a little rule for me. And hopefully, it'll help you out if you want to try this. The brighter the highlight, the brighter the color, the less of it you need. Holds true, no matter what you're painting. Okay. All right. So the sun is going to hit off of the right hand side here. And so, with some of that bright white, look at this. Just hit the peaks a little bit. And wherever the part of the mountain where the snow ridges are, you're gonna make your play off that. So you're aiming your paint on the ridges of the snow. Obviously, it's gonna hit off the top. Some of that brightness, some of it cascades downward. Make sure you keep it bright white. All right, so you've got a few different colors happening here. And once again, you don't need much of it to make that impact. All titanium white. All right, okay. I really want to emphasize the tops here. Side of the brush. just for I figure it might need it a little bit more. Let's keep those in shadow and let's get a nice little plateau right here, just like that. And then we'll come around here on the side, right here in the back half, just like that. And we'll kind of give him a little gully right there, just like that. And just have it come toward the side, come downward, just like that. The more you do these, the more confident you'll get in doing them. So don't be so discouraged if they don't come out exactly like to see them come out. It's all a process. Okay. You start fading out certain areas. We got our last little bit. We'll give him a little something right here. Push it up into the blue area a little bit. Okay. Pop one right in here. A little peak right in here. And bring some of that down this way. Just like that. Bring it into all of that. Okay. All right. Remember, I'm working with brushes that are conducive to the size of the paper, or the, whatever you use. You might use paper. You might use the canvas. All right. Okay. Let us get some fog going. Once again, we're going to return to the fan brush. Now, this is also a blender. Before you start doing pine trees with it, you blend with this. All right. This is soft hair. Okay. All right. Let's take a little tight look down here. Look, get a little titanium white. We're going into this blue. I'm getting a little water. I'm mixing it, just like that. You see that little milky type? Okay. Once again, we're gonna go down below here. I'm not really worried about the little hut house or whatever. Go down below. Okay. And we're gonna kind of get it a little bit brighter than that, because we got a heavy blue tint there, and that's fine. But I'm just down below here till I get what I want right, and it will slowly bring all of that upward, just like that. It's just wisping away, and we're gonna blend all of that. It doesn't have much of an impact now because there's a lot of white down below, but you'll see in a second or two. Yes, it is blue mist as of right now, but we're going to change that as we keep moving here. Right where the brown meets the white there, just like so. Get a little bit of water, mix it in with your paint. Believe it or not, it kind of turns it into almost like a little glaze. All right, it's not as pigmented, which actually helps. And we're going to go over this bluish tint with titanium white. We won't have the white as thin, but you'll see how all of this adds up here. All right, a little bit of titanium white, just a little bit. Remember, you got a short shelf life when you add just pure paint. Okay. And you just kind of wisp it around, just like that. Pure white paint, just white paint. And you kind of do it in little circle motions or whatever. And you see how it starts to break up a little bit? Keep at it. I'm going down below, and when it starts to kind of ease off the brush a little bit and you start getting those little gaps, that's when you bring it up into the mountain itself. So it gets a little heavier down below here. As you're working with it, remember there's no water. So you got a short time for this stuff to be kind of pliable before it starts drying up on you. And you just add some little misty stuff happening there. Just stir it around up there. I'm just using all pure white right now, just all titanium white. Now I can take a little bit of water, because I got white on the brush still. Look down here, see all that little glazy stuff? And you just take this very light, it's mixed with water, and you just start kind of, this is where you get your little misty stuff from. Okay, so remember, this stuff will start drying, and whatever pattern you got with this water and paint mix, it's going to give a little smoky like appearance to it. Okay. You can't tell right now, at least not too good, because there's no other color to match it up with, because you're looking at all white down there, so it's not as impactful yet, but it will be. It will be. All right, that's that. Looks a little shameful, but trust me, it will work. It will work out. All right, we're gonna put some pines in here. We're gonna get some deeper colors going on in here. Okay. All right, let's use, I think I'll use a tiny this is a hog's hair fan brush. We'll use this. We're gonna need some deep color right now. I'm going into my blue. We'll put the blue right here. Going into my red, which makes a nice deep maroon. I'm gonna have to get some more blue out here. So we'll get some ultramarine. Actually, no, let's go with a darker blue today. We'll use a deeper blue, because I want a super nice dark. Let's get a little bit more. I might need some more today. All right, we're going to this darker blue. Pop that in there. Stir it around. There we go. See that? We need this. Now, I'm going to get a little bit of yellow. And we'll tint it just a little bit. See? Look at that. Okay. Right now, I'm going to do pine trees in bulk. And we'll separate them with highlights. Okay. All right. Let's do this first. Let's pop some tops in there. Like this. Just like that. We're going to do these all over the place. Just like that. You can make a little game out of it, really. Okay, you know, you put some closer together, put some a little smaller. Don't necessarily have to be all over the place, but you know, just like that. So we're making a play off the treetops here. Some get a little bit lower, like down here. Okay, and I'm just really building a kind of a framework here. We'll come back down here a little bit. Bring it downward. And come back down here. We'll kind of get some tall ones up there like that. All right. Let's play with, okay, right here. See this? We'll play with this. This is going to be the main tree line. See, just follow that weird looking pattern there, and what we're going to do is just make little tree shapes right here, but we're going to follow that that line there. Don't worry about covering the house and all of that. You're going to be fine. It will be okay. Right up in here. It's going to get a little more solid down here. Okay, pretty deep down there. But right now, I'm just concentrating on all of this. Make it a little pine looking. Okay. Make it look like a bird can fly through those, even though they're a little ways away. Don't worry about down here. Down here's a little more solid. So let's get all this taken care of here. I'm getting a little more of the dark blue, a little touch of red, a little bit of yellow, kind of tinted, a little bit of greenish tint there. Okay. And once again, we'll kind of get that little pine look happening there. Have them little gaps up in here first. All right. So don't lose track. Don't get discouraged. Little gaps in there like that. Make it a little gappy, and then it gets a lot solid, a lot more solid down below here. Pretty deep, pretty solid. I'm gonna just take some straight blue and pop some straight blue in there, just for variance's sake. See? Just put it in there. Then you go back into your green and keep it pretty solid down there. Yeah, we're pretty good here. Okay. We're going to come back to this little brush, but not right now. Let's shape up some of those pines. We're going to take, now doing it in this method takes a little time, but the results are great. I'm going to take a very tiny, look how small that is. Look, see how small that is? We'll zoom in a little bit. And we'll come over here. I'm dipping this little micro tip here into some water. I need it at an inky consistency right now. It's the same color that I used previously. And we're gonna make little pine patterns with this, little dots. See this? This is how you get your pine look. See this? And obviously as it goes further down, it gets larger and larger. Like that. And we're gonna do a few of those, as you would probably surmise. See this? Just like that. It takes a little time to do them, but you know what? You will like the outcome. And you're just getting representational shapes. And this actually helps your painting look like some deep woods back there. They get a little bit larger as you go downward, but just keep in relation to how far these trees are. All right. Okay. If you feel you don't have enough water or enough paint, or it's not looking effective, just add a little more water. Get a little more water. I'm going towards the darker colors here, mixing it in. This is a very tiny brush. Very, like I say, very tiny tip brush there. It is pretty much made for details like this. Obviously on a bigger canvas you would use a larger brush or a script liner for these, all depending once again on the size of the paper. So I got to use this little micro fella here to compensate for the size of the paper. These do take a little time to do, but it definitely helps in the long run. I'm dipping this brush often into the water. I'm twirling the brush around even though it's got this little tiny tip. Okay. But if you see the results as you're looking at it as a whole as I'm painting this. Me, I'm looking at it one spot at a time as I'm painting it. But when I look at the monitor, I can see, how it's coming out. It's a different, believe it or not, a different look when you look at it through the monitor. Because even though you're painting this, because you're looking at it at a different video source, it kind of looks like somebody else is sort of doing it. So it's like you're kind of critiquing and examining yourself. All right, but now do you see how convincing the mountains look now? Do you see the natural shadows happen? See that? This is what happens when it dries. You see that? The shadows don't even look forced. Okay. You can do the same exact thing that I'm doing. Please don't limit yourself. You are your own worst enemy. It all starts in your mind. Because I also thought as you thought. I'm like, nah, there's no way I can do this. I remember in my much younger days, I thought painting just took a lot of time and it was a waste of time and it took a certain person to do it and blah, 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 blah. And I never got into it. I started painting kind of somewhat late in my artistic life, I guess. I always was involved in art, but not in painting. Not until I discovered that Afroed gentleman that was on TV for a number of years. And it was really his afro and his voice that caught me. And then when I seen what he did with a paintbrush, and it was like not even normal paintbrushes, it was like a household window trim brush. And I couldn't believe he did stuff like that with a window brush. But he did. When he first started, he didn't use his certified brushes. No, he used a regular paintbrush. But he turned out such magnificent looking work. Of course, as time went on, things have evolved. People have gotten other techniques or mixed old masters techniques with the wet and wet style, which gives you also another certain look. All right. So if you prefer the Ross version of technique, then go for what you know. If you want to add a little bit more to it, go for what you know. It's all up to you. As he would affectionately say, it is your world. So you do what fits for you. Now look at what we got so far. As I'm talking and doing this, you see how your eye brings all that together? Okay. So, once again, panic not. I'm just dipping my little micro brush into more water. I'm just stirring it around here, going into the darker areas. Okay. And once again, you don't have to be super exact. You're making a representation of these guys being far away. Okay. And sometimes all it takes is a little tap. Just like that. You're painting the representation of a pine tree. And pine trees are a little ways away. These type of pines take a little more time, but the results are great. getting more water. It's very small brush, very small bristles. Remember, they get a little larger as they come further down. When I say larger, it's just in relation to the subject you're painting. Still keep characteristic gaps, like an animal can actually walk through those, like a bird can actually fly through these. All right, and I do suffer the plight of a left-hander, meaning that I gotta watch where I put my hands, because I can bring some of the woods back with me. And don't get lazy. If you know you're nearing the end or near the last tree or whatever, don't get sloppy. Do it like you did the first one, with as much care. And right now, remember, just representational shapes. Got me? Okay. Alrighty then. Let's go back into our tiny little brush here. Let's get some highlights in there. Okay, I'm gonna take a look down here. See this yellow? Well, now yellow is very transparent. Okay, so you're gonna have to kind of beef it up a little bit. I'm gonna take a little bit of this green, just a little bit, and just kind of pop some of that green in there like that. Okay, all right. The tiniest hint of white. Now white is extremely opaque. Okay. So I'll get a little more of this green and put it in there just to kind of deaden some of that brightness. I don't want it too bright. I don't want it gaudy bright. Okay, that will work. Now what we're gonna do with this brush is that we're going into the wood areas here, and we'll just kind of give a slight touch. See this? Just a little touch like that in certain areas. Make them look like little pines. Keep the little lines going. Okay. Make them look like, see, like little pine lines. Just like that. Come on down below a little bit. Put some of them in there like that. I don't have to add them all over the place. Just here and there. Sometimes they just take a little line. Come up here a little. Just a little touch here and there. You can bring some up here if you would like. Okay. And once again, bring some of them down in here. Like that. And bring some here, kind of going further. Up to you. I'll turn my brush around and give me something a little different. Just like that. Like I said, I don't have to add them all over the place. This is more than fine. What's going on right there? Okay. And that will be the end of that. All right, let's pull back a little bit. Let me show you something. Let's pull back a little bit there. Okay, look what you have here so far. All right. I feel like doing something a little, I don't know if it's radical, not necessarily radical. All right, but I want to show you how I'm gonna bring these mountains a little further back. Okay, without really destroying all the brightness, but we're gonna glaze this whole mountain. But by the time I get to the fog, we're going to do like a almost a one-stroke method, so you don't really kill all the mist. But we're going to bring these mountains further back a wee bit. Okay, just a wee bit. We're going to take, I'll show it to you here. We're going to take this mop brush. We're going to make a quick glaze. All right, look down here. Let's take a little bit of blue. We're going to put the blue right here. A little bit of red. Put the red right here. Make a nice little maroon here. Put the red in a little bit at a time because the red is very powerful. And it's just a quick shadow color. Now I'm taking some water. See the water here? See this? Now that's a little, not necessarily too dark, but it's too much paint in that. Okay. So I'm wiping some off. I'm going back into the water and I'm gonna come here. See that? See how it's a little bit wider, it's lighter, a little more water than paint. It's pretty much what I'm looking for. Now I'm using this type of brush for a reason. One, it's soft. Two, it holds a lot of this water, so you don't have to do too many passes with it. All right, this is what you would call a bravery test. All right, instant cheap way to make glaze. Okay, we're gonna take this and we're gonna gloss over all of this. Okay, ready? Now I'm not gonna go as far down. Okay, you'll see, but I am gonna take the top here. And like I say, it's pretty much just water and a little bit of paint, but we're gonna just set the mountains back a wee bit. See this? Don't be worried about the little trail of water that I'm leaving behind. That's actually fine. Okay, but we are gonna set this guy back. You know what? I'll play with, let me play with something here. Maybe I might want some of this to really stand out. Some of the higher points to stand out. So we'll make a game of it. We'll just kind of do stuff like that. We'll shade the rest though. Some of these are really high peaks, so we'll shade some. Okay. We'll shade the rest. So it's just a play of shadow. But see, this lighter color will bring all of that back. Don't worry about all this. All this can be taken care of, and we're going to take care of it. See, I just kind of wisp all of that. So I kind of know where things are just by the shading of it here. And remember, this is mostly water, so it's going to dry anyway. Now down below here, right here, all in this here, we're gonna kind of fade that right out. I'm just rinsing off my brush, and we'll kind of cross that. See, just so we don't contaminate all that mist. Just like that. That's what the water will do for you. That little bit of glaze there. Okay, but if you notice, I kept certain spots kind of bright. So now it really looks like the sun's hitting. But we just burn the mountains back a little bit. All right, and that's all you need to do. All right, see that? I just bring all the mountains back. You still got your values and everything. It's just they're all set back a little bit. But you see where the bright spots are. Even left some up there. Okay. But now you can see the mist. You really see the mist, and it looks like mist. You see how that was done, and you still got some of that brown in the mountain in there? Okay. Once again, pick your battles, pick your poison. Pick your poison. Now, doesn't that look more and more like clouds now? Pick your battles. All right, we'll move right on. I'll get off my whipping post. Okay. We're gonna start adding some very lively colors, more or less. Okay, because right now it just looks very, let's move up, We're, put our attention up here now. It looks very mechanical, obviously, because it's just a bunch of straight lines. Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna do something about that right now. We're gonna take I think I'll take the 1/2 inch right now, for right now. And I'll loosen up the bristles. Let us get in here. Let's get a little bit of actually, let me work on the dark part first. So I'm getting into this deeper, this maroon here that we have, that we tried to make we did make a shadow color of. And we're just gonna take this and we're kind of gonna, we add some of the shadow right in here, just like this, nice little line. Keep with the perspective. And right now I'm just blocking in just shadow right now. All right, just like this. It's got water and paint. That's about all it's got. Just like that. All right, don't be so panicky and nervous about what I just did. All right. Okay. Like I said, I'm just blocking it in. We can take some of the same shadow mix I just did, and we can actually go outward with it. Straight line. It's gonna look funny like this. Just go out. And the closer you get to us, the more, see the streaks? Keep it straight though. Now you can do the path or the road any way you feel. You can add a little bump to it or whatever. But right now we're just blocking in color. Just like so. Doesn't have to be super perfect right now. Like I said, I'm just blocking all that. And we're gonna add all sorts of colors and stuff to this later. All right. Okay. Let us take we'll take the same white brush I had used earlier, and we're gonna darken the foreground. We'll just use it like this. Look down here. Just a makeup brush. And we're just gonna darken up the foreground. Remember, this is all grass in here. I'm not blocking in all this. And we'll just kind of block all that in. One thing is just getting rid of all that white. Okay, basically. And we'll put it all up in here like this. And we'll get a little, I'm still keeping with the perspective area there. Just like that. Okay, all right. We'll clean this off real fast. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to block it in, just get rid of all of that, all of the white there. Okay, all right. Let's take we'll take the same flat brush I used in the beginning. Let us make, let's get some blue, put the blue right here, bam. Put some yellow in there, turns it instant green, just like that. So we'll play with this green a little bit. We'll take a little bit of water and we'll loosen up the paint. And I mean a tiny bit of water. Okay, now we're gonna just kind of come in here and we're just gonna block all this in. You know, it's I feel obviously a lighter, because we got water in it, so it's not as thick as that dark you see back there. But we're just blocking it in. See, you can go on top of that. Doesn't matter. Because this green has more water in it, so a little more transparent. Just like that. Just block it in. Block it in, block it in, block it in. Just like that. Block it in. Go on top of that dark too. Doesn't matter. Just getting a little more paint. Block it in. See? If it's patchy, dark on one spot or whatever, that's okay. Block it in. Now I'm just blocking in a little color, getting a little touch of water. Just thin out the paint just to get it to travel a little bit more. Once again, you're just blocking in color. Just like that. Let's go here just a little bit. We'll block it in something like this. Just like that, and keep it in a straight line too. I'll go this far. It's okay. Remember, straight line, like that. once again, just blocking in color. That's all. That's all. We're going to go into well, before I do that, let's do something else. Let's take the same color. We're going to add a little bit of orange. Let's add some orange to that green right here. Okay. Just like that. A micro touch of red in there. There we go. That makes a nice little road color, don't you think? Should still be fairly light. And we'll just take it and we're gonna go in a line, straight line, straight line. Your line is straight like this, believe it or not. You tend to go downward or whatever, but go straight across. Now, I'm gonna get a little bit of water, loosen up the paint. And once again, don't have to be exact because this is a road, so you got all sorts of colors and stuff happening there, popping off, just like that. We're going to get a little bit of red. We'll loosen that red up a little. We're getting a little bit of water, just loosen up the red. And go in a straight line. When I say a straight line, you're going diagonal. Go right across. Like that. See this? So it kind of makes the semblance of a path. Obviously, the further down the path you go, the smaller it gets. All of that. Okay. I'm gonna take a little bit of red, just red itself, and we'll kind of add some dark splotches in there, here and there, just like that. Don't worry, we're gonna strengthen up with other colors and whatnot, so don't worry about that. Once again, this is a building up process. Don't panic. Now, if you notice with all the colors, the dark area is not that dark anymore, right? Don't worry, we'll help fix that too. Okay. I know you guys have not seen too many of these, but this is well, we call it a rake brush. I'll bring it closer. See this? Now you guys might see those ridges there? Okay, all right. Come down, follow me here. Let's get a little bit of red. Let's get a little bit of blue and make it fairly deep there. Yeah, that's good. Get some water, put it in there. Now the water is gonna come down off of the thick part of this brush and it's gonna go into the narrow ridges there. Okay, we'll get some semblance of tall grasses like right up in here and just kind of see this, just kind of put them in there. We'll get some lighter ones in there, and right now I'm just building up some dark areas, and you can take it and you kind of splotch it along here just like that, make it uneven. See this? See how dark that is? All right. And you kind of splotch it along up top there. Just like that. Up in here and around the bottom is pretty solid in there. Pretty solid. You don't have to make it a straight line. Make it as bumpy or craggy as you would like. See how it starts to get a little kind of a natural look there. Okay. I'm gonna still take this brush and we'll kind of brush outward, straight across, almost like a little more here though, because it's closer to us. So we'll do something like that, but keep it straight across, straight across, straight across. Get some more of that dark, and we'll go straight across like that. Some patches kind of come out more, some don't. This is a road, so you don't want it picture perfect. It's a road, dirt road. Dirt roads aren't not picture perfect. Just like that. Bring out there a little bit. A little heavier shadow here because of the hutch, house, or whatever you want to call it there. Just like that. Okay. I'm going back into my little darkness here, because usually up around in here it's fairly decently dark there. I can take another brush and do the rest of this, but right now I'm just building up some dark area. Like that. Don't worry about this little streaks go horizontal. See that? My finger, I get rid of the rest. It's just water and paint. Okay. You're just building up stuff here. That's all you're doing. Just building up things. All right, let's get a little bit of white. And we'll put the white in here like this. Look where I'm at here. A little bit of water on the tips of this rake brush. Okay, and we'll come here. We'll just kind of pop over it really light. Pop over some tall grass in there like that. Maybe a few right here too. And we'll get in a couple there. Maybe some in there. Now I won't go too far further down, but just some semblance of some tall grass in there like that. If you would like, up to you. Maybe some of that grass kind of sticks out here like this, but keep it horizontal like that. And you got some patches of stuff happening there like this. Keep it horizontal like that. Up to you. That's your bag if you want to do it that way or not. All right, we'll put that away. Let's get into I guess I'll go into I'll use this one. We're going back to our minute little hog's hair brush. We're going to use thicker paint. All right, let's get a little bit of yellow, which I don't have too much of. A little bit of blue. More paint than water. We're not going to use too much water with this part. Okay, pack your brush full of paint. And we're just going to add some batches of just grass, just like this, just cute little taps here and there. See this? Okay. We'll come in here, we'll add some peaks going up there. I'm just pressing a little bit harder because I just want to emphasize the darkness there. That's about all. But back into our patches here. Put it in there. Don't be scared. Put it in there. All right. Pretty neat, right? Watch this though. Let's get a little bit of orange. We'll put the orange here. This orange should be opaque enough. We'll make pretty little orangey flowery things happening there like this. Look at that. Look. Just in patches here and there. See this? Oh, we'll put a few here. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, so we got a few orange peaks in there. Let's go into our red. Nothing but red paint, thick paint, red paint. I'm pushing into the bristles. All right, okay. Here we put some firebrands in there. Look at that. Pop some in here. Put it into the orange a little bit. Looks like we're somewhere in the Netherlands. Somewhere. See? Look at that. You see that? Okay. Mix it in. It's like so. Okay. See? It's not too bad. All right. We're going into our white. Maybe a slight touch of, little touch of green in there. Right here by the house. Let's just get some white patches in there like this. Go right from the house there, just like this. Okay. We're not going to go all the way across, but we're going to kind of stop it right in a little bit of the tree line, right in there like that. Just like that. So we got a little patch or something. We got some patches coming through here. Just like that. I probably won't do any more than what you just seen. I think that's fine. And you just leave it alone. If you want to put a couple of patches in here, like that, maybe down below here, just scatter it around a little bit, then that's fine. That's your discretion. That's really up to you. Okay. I am going to tighten up this road because it's not horizontal enough for me. So we're going to tighten that up. Okay. All right. Matter of fact, we can probably do a little bit of that right now. We'll tighten some of that road up. Let's take a little bit of red into this green. A little bit of blue. We'll darken it up a little bit. And there we go. And I want to tighten this road up just a tad. We'll go more horizontal this way. Really make it. I'm just going to change the topography of the road a little. I can lighten it up later, but right now I want it to appear a lot more flat than what it's looking like. Just like that. And I can change and rearrange. We're gonna bring that road color back. Don't worry about that. Don't fret about that. We'll take care of that. All right. I think we're good so far. So far, so good. Too. The size of the paper. Okay, so we got a nice mix of this deep blue and this green. There, really deep green there. And we're gonna just start kind of patching in some of that grass in there. Just like this. Just pop it in there. And basically what I'm doing is making this foreground a little darker. And basically I'm blocking in with this type of green. Blocking it right in. See this? So I'm getting rid of a lot of that blue gray. Not quite dark enough yet, but we're going to get there in a second. Because we're getting some red. A little touch of blue in there. And we're just going to kind of add a little love in there like this. I need it darker here. Not much water. More paint than anything else. Establishing texture. And plus, I just need it a little darker here in the foreground anyway. Just like so. All right, let's go with a little bit of yellow. We'll put the yellow here. Get a little bit of blue in that yellow. Just like that, a little natural green here. And we're gonna come here and we're just gonna pop some of that green in there. Just like that. Pop some of that green in there like this. Don't worry, we're gonna get this green a little brighter. Right now we're just establishing some things here. Get a little more yellow. Go into that green. We need a touch of white and only a touch. And we're gonna slap some patches of tall grass in there. I know you guys can see this here. See this? just like that. Pop some grass in there. Not too far, just like that. Okay, all right. Clean off the fan brush. Let's go into our red. Let's pop some firebrands in there. Bloop, just like this. Put some up in here. Put some back here. Just like that. Pop some of that red in there like this. All right. Okay. Let's get some orange. I might add a little bit of white in that orange, brighten it up a little bit. Make it a little more opaque. And just throw some orange in there, like this. Pop a couple of bits of those in there like that. Let's pop in a couple in here. Oh, off the page here like that. Okay, all right. Let's add something that we have not added yet, only once. We're gonna brighten it up. Get some bluebells going. Get some blue. A little touch of white in the blue, just like this. And we're gonna do the same exact thing, but we're just adding blue. So I'll pop that blue in there like that. See the way that blue sticks out? You see that? Oh. Pop some bluebells in there. Pop it around the edge there. I kind of like that blue. Let's make the blue a little deeper. Let's pop some of that blue over here on the other side. We don't have very many bits of blue, so we'll kind of pop some blue in there. All right, I think that's pretty cool. Just little bits in there, just like that. All right, no more than that. Just make sure you clean off your brush fairly well. All right. Okay then. All right. So I'm looking at it overall. You guys obviously don't see what I see, but I'm just checking it out more or less overall. Okay, let's go to we'll just use a flat brush. I want a shorter length flat brush. I'll use this guy. This guy's good for texture. Let's go into our orange. We'll put the orange and the red together. Add a little white, what's left of the white. Maybe the slightest hint of blue to grade up a little bit. A little more orange. That should somewhat fit the bill. Horizontal. Really horizontal. Almost like you're aiming downward. We're gonna tighten up some of that in there. Get a little water. We're gonna fill in some of that white there, that lighter color. See that? So we'll glaze some of that, get some of that white out of there. There we go. All right, see all those nice colors going there in that little road there? All right. Okie dokie then. Let's get a little bit of orange. I still have some left. And we're gonna lightly scumble some brightness there. We're gonna kind of take advantage of that orange there. Look at this. Bring your got a little bit of your perspective back. So we're just inching back a little bit of brightness. I think I can get away with a little touch of white if there's some white left in there. And just scumbling some brightness in there. Not all the way. Not all the way. Something like that. All right. Let us get to a 1/2" brush here. I got enough. I'm wetting the bristles. Do this real quick here. Get some blue. Get some red, because I like the blue and the red. It makes a nice deep color here. Block that in like that. Let's get a little more deep maroon going here, a little more red, a little more blue. Put it around there. A little more blue, that's a little red. This is mostly paint, all paint. And we're just gonna kind of branch out one. Branch up that way, and maybe a little thin one there. Okay, we're gonna come up, kind of get it a V. Let's kind of make him out that way, and have one kind of strand out in that direction. I don't really have to add really too much to this tree. I think that will be fine. All right, it looks like that. I don't need to add really too much to the tree, but I'm gonna take the same brush with the same dark color, and we'll just kind of get a nice little tree shape here, just like that. You bulk it out and get some straggles going, and we'll kind of have it come up here, just like that. Just interesting little patches. Come here, do it right here too. Now you got to think about the general tree shape. I want this guy a little rounded. Okay. This dark color will do fine. It will do fine. Let's pop him way up here like this. I just want an interesting roundish tree shape. Just like this. Come in with the other branches there. Okay, just like that. Bulk it out. And maybe a little something here. But basically kind of a roundish shape here. Like that. Like I say, we'll bulk him out a little bit. Just like that. Come down here a little. Yeah, just like that. Basically, you're just looking at a mass, just a mass of color right now, right there. All right. Let's take a little bit of what I don't have. So hold on one second. Get a little bit of white, mix it in with that deep maroonish color we got having in here. I'm gonna just use this brush. It's a 1/2" brush. Okay, ready? And we'll just kind of play around with the tree shape here. Kind of give little taps here just to outline this fella a little bit. It's not bright enough, but we're gonna get it there. We will get it there. We'll work it out. Just like so. All you gotta do really is add a little more white. Just add a little more white and little touches here and there. Just like that. You can even create little branches if you want. Up to you. It's your world, your tree. Do what you feel you need to do. All right. Okay. I'm gonna get a little bit of deep blue, some kind of off color here. It's just a refracted light. I got white on my brush, so I'm just gonna deepen the blue with the white mix. Kind of comic booky, makes it look almost radioactive, but you'll know it's still the dark side here. So it might look a little bit strong, but remember, this stuff will flatten out in a bit. Okay, or something like that. I really don't need it to be excessively dark. Now some of that blue-white mix is starting to dry up and die down a little bit, so I'm gonna just take some straight white. Remember, the brighter the highlight, the less of it you need. Rule still applies. And I'm just gonna tap. Just like that, just a little. So that you know there's a bright part of that tree. All right, enough of that. Enough of that. Let us go into a fan brush. I guess I'll use the same tiny guy, this fella. Let's get into a little bit of red. I don't think I'm gonna have enough red, but at least it's a start. And we'll just kind of get a nice, interesting shape with the red here. See this? Make sure you got gaps of black in there though, or we'll have a red tree. Come here, just like that. Keep gaps of black. The highlights, the midtones, and the values like that will still apply. You got your dark tones, and believe it or not, this is just a midtone. That's all we got right here. It's just a midtone. All right, that's all. Come on in here, get your interesting shapes. Remember, the black is the shadow. That's just to help you. Okay, it maintains, keep that rounded shape to your tree. Now, you don't necessarily have to use a fan brush, but whatever brush you use gives you that certain look. Okay, basically. All right, something like that. I kind of want it a little bulky here. All right, and we'll complete that with the highlight. So you got your dark and your light tones in there. Let's kind of make that a little solid. Okay, let's get a little bit of yellow. I got yellow mixed in with the red because I didn't clean my brush. I'm getting a slightest touch of white. Kind of want it maybe a little orangish color. So I'm actually making a homemade orange. All right, here we go. Plenty of paint packed on this brush. And the light is more or less coming from, remember, the back half of the tree. So the light is coming more or less from this area. And you would paint it as such. See this? So you got your bulky mass color from the back end, and it kind of straggles toward the left. See this? Especially up toward the top where, a lot of that sun would hit a little bit. So you kind of aim it that way like that. Okay. And we'll kind of pop some down here, down below. Just like that. I'm gonna get a little more white. It's being tinted with the orange, so it's not totally white, and we'll kind of get some really. Remember, the brighter you go with it, the less of it you need. And I'm just doing some at the very tops, where you figure the peaks of all of this would be. I'll put some of that lighter stuff over here so it goes over a couple of the branches. Like so. I don't think I need too much more than that, really. Coming toward the last bit here. We're gonna get a little 1/4 inch brush here. We'll work on the hut here. Okay. Let's get some red. We'll put it right where this orange is. Get a little bit of blue, a little bit of yellow there. Pretty thick paint. Okay. We'll work on the hutch, Lord. And we'll just kind of tap in the general shape of the thatched roof here. It's going to be rough looking because it's basically a thatched roof, you know. It's kind of crazy. So we're just bulking the color here. Of course, you guys didn't see that, but we're right here. I'll bring it in a little bit. Now remember, we're doing stuff conducive to the size of the size of the canvas here. In my case, it's just paper. And you got to keep, at least keep the perspective straight there. No matter what way the roof looks, you got to keep its perspective. I'm going to need more orange than this, but we'll just get the patterns going. Boom. Just like that. Pop it in there. We're going to establish even a little bit of depth, even in that little fella. A little bit of red, a little bit of blue, makes a nice deep dark color. It's just a very deep maroon. And we add some, just like that, underneath there. And we do some underneath this fella, just like that. Just like so. Don't make it perfect. Kind of staggered a little bit. Make it kind of rough around the edges. Like that. A little thicker here. There. Something like that. We're going to do something like that around this door too. Like this. Okay. Maybe a little something by this window. Something like that. Okay. Let's get a little bit of white. A little bit of blue. We'll put this in the front part, right in here. Kind of aim it downward. Just like that. Just like this. Alright, that's one part of it. Let's get a little bit of dark. And we're just going to kind of bring those striations down a little bit like that. Alright. Yeah, something like that. Might get it a little darker. It needs to be a little darker. Let's go into our blue a little bit of blue here. Bluish, white, grayish mix. And the reason why we're doing this, let's put some of that here then instead. It's just we're going to come on the other side here. We should have enough. Make sure your corners are sharp though when you do stuff like that. Even if it's a rough looking house, make sure them corners are sharp. I was going to put another window there, but that won't be needed. I'll just put the window right here. I'll put it back. Pretty much like that. I'll just pop a window in there. I'll just cover it up. Getting a little bit of white. I get a little bit of water into the white. It makes it kind of chalky. We'll brighten it up. We'll go from the bottom up. We'll go from the bottom up like that. Okay. So we just pretty much did it in reverse. Going into some color that I've already had, and we'll make the door. let us go into our maroon color here, our deep color right there. See how we make that. I'll put the second one in there, why not? Just like so, it's okay. Let's take this same color, kind of give us some texture here. Something like that. And we'll pop some dark thatches in here like this. We'll outline that a little bit better. We'll get a little bit of white, a little bit of, maybe a little bit of this color here. Lighten it up a little bit, and we'll just start outlining little things on this like that. See that? See, little stuff like that adds to you a little bit of realism, I guess you could say. And once you do certain things like this, you don't have to add it all over the place. A little bit down here maybe. Just adding a little character to your piece, that's all. Take a little bits of titanium white here and just kind of not too much, just a little bit here. Okay, that's not too bad. I think that's all right. Little highlights in the road there. Show it to you here. Little highlights. We'll pull back a little bit. We'll pull back a little bit more. Now that looks like a complete little woodland scene, right? Okay. Focus it a little bit. All right. Once again, I'm doing stuff that's conducive to what I have for the size of the paper here. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, I don't think I really need to add much of anything else. I do believe that's pretty much it. All right. Okay, let me throw my name on it. I do thank you. As I'm talking to you here, I'm most likely, because obviously I didn't edit this yet, I will be chopping this up a little bit so it won't be too overly lengthy. But I hope that you did enjoy this presentation. And come back for many more. Any questions, all you gotta do is put them in the link in the comment section there. I will get back to you. Click that subscription button if you would like. I do, if you would like to donate to the cause, it's up to you entirely. I don't push it heavily at all. But there's a PayPal button. The super chat should be up there, but the PayPal button is there. Every little bit counts, every little bit helps. Let's whack a frame on this real quick here. It's really your choice of what type of frame you would like to use. This is one with a white frame or a black frame. The black frame. This is what it looks like with a black frame. All right. This is actually the frame that would fit this paper 11 by 15. Okay. All right. Some of you may more or less might be impartial to the brown frame. It probably fits a little bit better to the scene. But that's what a brown frame would look like for you. I'm partial to this one. But you know, each person got their own preference. But I prefer this one. What do you suggest? As you see, because I've glazed that mountain, you see the fog back there. The pine trees look like pine trees. You got a little hutch, you got a big old wide road, you know, red tree. Our grass is a little colorful. Different approach to the mountains. A little more, I guess, realistic, you would say. All right. Clouds definitely fit in wonderfully. All right. With all of that said, me and my squeaky chair are going to call it an evening. I thank you very much. I really do. And until next time, peace.